And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Oh, yes, we are a day late, and we're always more than $1 short because we don't get paid enough. But our man, Podcast Dave, was out vacationing and got stuck with airports and all that other stuff. So we are sorry that we are a day late, but we are here to talk about what happened on the weekend. My man Josh already eating candy and drinking pop.
Yep.
Jesus, 237 pounds is on the way, baby.
That's right. All
Tell
right.
everyone.
Right. It's almost like
dad,
you being
you
88
dad
years
bod
old.
bastard.
John, we call you Big John, but really, how much do you weigh?
Oh, my God. Now?
Don't make it up. Tell us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, how much you weigh now?
260, 259.
260. What were you weighing when you first got in the game?
297.
Oh, okay. That's not much difference. 30 pounds.
Oh, that's a big difference because there was a big difference in the way it was put together.
Yeah, this is true.
Yes.
Oh man, there used to be a waistline back then.
Oh yeah.
Not so
Kind of
much
had
anymore.
that whole V thing.
Yeah,
Now it's just like
a pear. It's like a pear shape.
It's not pear like, but it's just like straight up and down.
Hey, that's a
All
pretty
right,
cool.
look at it this way. My neck used to be. I used to have to get a shirt 20 and a half, 21 inch neck.
Wow.
Now 17, baby. That's pathetic. That's what happens when people torque your neck and you have neck surgeries.
Yeah, I had a 17 and a half inch neck.
Yeah.
Yep. And now I don't know what it is now, but I know it's not 17 and a half. I can tell you that. I looked at some old photos and I was like, damn. And then I looked at some recent ones and I was like, yeah, you're getting that old man body look.
Yeah, it just happens.
Everything starts to kind of just look like it's kind of just sagging a little
Called gravity, dude.
bit.
It works.
Shit. Oh man. We had a good weekend, man. It was a good weekend of fights, and obviously Bkfc kind of stole the show this weekend. I mean, there was some
Didn't they?
there was some really good shit going on, and I don't know, man, but there was a lot of, how can I say this? I think this weekend sparked a lot of people's interest.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the one thing that, how do you say it without, we've talked in the past about, look, this guy he's made for this. Like Mike Perry, we're going to talk about. He's made for bare knuckle. You can take a guy in Mike Perry that, in MMA, you can take a look at his record, look at UFC and everything that he did, and decent fighter, but never going to be that guy that is a world champion. Cowboy Cerrone being able to, submit him, different guys. He goes out and beats a guy, and maybe Luke's not quite the same as he used to be, but still, it was the way that he went about doing it, and it's because this specific type of fighting is made for him. And we've talked about that. And it's not made for everyone. And you could be a great fighter, go into that and go, ooh, I'm in trouble. This is a different world, and it is. And that's where you take a look at all these different styles of fighting. You try to compare guys from different things. You can't compare them. They're different.
No. I think this look, I don't say this about a lot of sports, but this sport really has a chance to make it. Like the slap fighting bullshit, it's nothing against what Dana did, but even before, it doesn't have a chance.
That's crap.
It's crap. This whole 3 people versus 3 people you see in Russia.
Crap.
You see all this stuff, right? Like all this.
Yeah.
This is legitimately has an legitimately has an opportunity to become a sport. I mean, John, there's no other way the best way for me to kind of sum this up. Luke went out there to make this a sport. He thought this was a sport fight. No. This was a fucking real fight.
Fucking fight.
The feeling of your knuckles or knuckles against your face. If you didn't grow up doing this,
different.
It's different. And here's the thing. Remember when we talked about this about 2 weeks ago, and I said, I'd entertain the bare knuckle thing. John, I got fucking so many fights as a kid. So many. And I mean, all the way up. I mean, all the way bar
Hello.
fights, all this other stuff. You know what I mean? So I didn't stop fighting until like I was in my, late 20s, maybe even. I think I got
No, you didn't stop fighting till you were in your 40s.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But this is like real shit. It's a different feeling when you get cracked in the face with someone's bare knuckles. The way it hits your skin, how you can react. And the only thing that separates this from a real fight out in the streets is that there's gonna be a ref there to save you. You know what I mean?
And it can't go to the ground.
And it can't go to you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it can't go to the ground, but
and you can't use tools.
It's a feeling. It's a safety net though, to be like, okay, look, if I do get hit, it's still a sport. If I do get knocked out, if I do get hit, like someone's not going to bash my fucking head against the curb. Like that mentality of that's what Mike Perry has.
Yes.
Luke has this. Don't get me wrong. I've seen Luke, get after it sometimes, out there too, but not. This was different. Like he has that belief that this is a sport, and you've got the guys that are succeeding in this sport, like an Eddie Alvarez, like a Mike Perry, Ben Rothwell. But that they grew up just slinging it in the streets. And I'm not talking about dick. I'm talking about hands. Okay? I mean,
they might have been doing both.
They might have been doing both.
Not Ben.
But not Ben.
I'm just kidding, Ben.
It just it gives me that feeling of that this is a real fight. This like dirty, grimy uppercuts, all of those things. And some of these, this is a different breed. When we talk about MMA, this is a different breed. Well, this is even a step more of a different breed from this. That feeling of cracking your knuckles against someone else's face.
It's the way that MMA started.
Yeah,
Let's just be honest.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Bare knuckle.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was one of the things that we ended up having to get rid of because it's the same problem that bare knuckle fighting is having today. You have maybe 10 states that they can go to right now. And I've said this forever, and I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but regulators don't fight. They haven't been in fights. They're not in street fights. They're not in competition for the most part. Some, very few are. You get the Andy Fosters who's fought and things like that. They get this thing that, oh my God, you can't hit someone with a bare fist. You allow people to get hit with knees, shins, elbows, and then you're worried about the fist. This is how ridiculous. But, especially back, when we're talking, 1990s, oh my God, you would have thought that we were putting guns in people's hands and letting them shoot at each other. It was just crazy. But there is a difference. But there's a big difference in what it does for MMA too, because, man, it's a whole lot easier to get submissions when you don't have that big old pad on your hand. You can slide your hand through. You can do things that, it's not easy to hold on to someone the same way. So it works both ways, but it's real. And that's why people like it.
If I'm an investor though, I'm really taking a close look at this sport because I think it has the potential to take off.
Sure.
Now it may jump. It's going to have to jump through a lot of obstacles to get into all the other sports. But I think it'll be fine to get into other countries. I mean, can you imagine like this? Like the whole pikey type fighting. Like you take this over to the UK. You take this over to Scotland.
It happens in the UK. It's all. I mean, that's where it stayed alive with guys like Tyson Fury's dad and stuff. Gypsies, they throw down bare knuckle all the time, and it's a real thing. But you get look at the British Boxing Commission. They're not gonna. And you got to figure out, they understand this is a problem for us that people might start to gravitate towards it over what we do, which means loss of revenue, which means, oh my God, we could have a problem as far as, they start to take over. Politics works,
If I'm an investor,
politics is a lot dirtier than bare knuckle boxing.
Yes, it is. If I'm somebody who's with an investment company and I'm looking at this, and I just saw what I watched last week. I mean, like that fucking Eddie Alvarez and Mendes fight.
Oh,
holy
great fight.
Shit.
Great fight.
What a fight. The drama of it all. And And I'm sorry, but man, like I know Beck Rawlings had a rough go in MMA, but in this, she's tailor made for this sport.
Yes,
Like,
she is.
sign me up. She reminds me of a Mike Perry. Like it's, you know, it's one of those things where I look at her and I'm like, this is what you were meant to do. Like MMA, you get taken down, you control all those things. No, this is for you. The dirty, grimy boxing, like she was slinging it. And I was like, holy shit, you were fast. I mean, she got cut. Not much you can do about it. I'd like to see them run it back. But that fight was shaping up to be a really good fight. That first round was a little fill-out round, a couple good shots towards the end. But, man, that second round was like, let's go. Let's go. They came out and were slinging it. Overall, and then the Rothwell-Copeland fight, great fight. But
oh, my God.
If
Come on. Those guys were banging.
Yeah. If I'm an investor, though, John, I'm looking going, where can I take this? Where can we go with this sport? What states can we go to? How can we open up? What states are maybe even thinking about allowing this to happen, continue to happen? This was something that, I don't know, man. I'm going to start putting some feelers out and be like, hey, is there something you could put some money into in this thing? You know, who and where and what? I mean, this has the chance to really make it, especially with a lot of these guys that have names that are leaving, MMA for a little bit more money. It doesn't have to be a lot more
money.
Some of them are making a lot more.
A lot more money.
Yeah, some of them are making a lot more. But I'm saying it still gives you an avenue to go. Like Dan Spawn. You know, I mean, he fought MMA. Now he's done with MMA. Now he's doing this. I don't know if he's going to do it again. But this is, another avenue for him to make some money. It's definitely a different feel.
Same thing.
Camozzi, same thing. Exactly. Rothwell. I mean, you've got, Gertz. Gertz was in there too. There's certain guys. Yeah, there was some, but this is another thing. This is one of those things that he's tailor made for, and he can wrestle
Derek
too. Campos. I mean, I'm surprised Campos is not in this thing yet.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get started on the main event, though, and try to break this whole thing down, go to onlyfans.com/weighing in. Subscribe to us over there. It is free. Want to thank you guys for continuing to support us on that platform. We've got some new fan questions that were on there that submitted this week, and I took a look at them. And good stuff, man. Let's keep it going. We're going to do a Q&A here coming up here soon. And go to weighingin.merch.com. Pick up some of our hoodies. It's actually getting hot now. It was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's almost into the 90s, 86, 88. Ooh,
not where I'm at.
No? It's still cold where you're at?
Dude, look at this, man. It was 43 degrees. Oof. Terrible.
Oh, no,
hot coffee, thank God.
Oh, man. I don't know. I got to start making some coffee in the morning. It's 5 a.m. and I'm drinking a soda pop. A soda pop. And I had some nerds, my little gummy nerds.
I know.
Yep, they're all gone now. So I told myself I wouldn't buy another bag. So I'm trying to be responsible.
You gonna start shaking?
No.
Withdrawals?
Have withdrawals? No. All right, let's go ahead and get right into this main event. Mike Perry versus Luke Rockhold. What was your perception on the way Luke handled the movement, the aggressiveness of Perry?
He wasn't ready for it. He thought that he could be slicker, and he didn't understand what bare knuckle boxing is. He didn't understand it. He thought he did. Mm-hmm. He thought, it's no different than what I did in MMA, and I'm just going to stick and move. And no, it is not like that. Your defense is completely different. Mm-hmm. Your ability to be offensive is completely different. It takes away a lot of the slickness of boxing. And based upon the rule set and being able to, to single collar tie, to underhook someone, to overhook someone, but be still offensive. These are times when you can, in MMA, you're going to grab hold and take someone down. Well, you can't grab hold and take the person down. And these are times when you're going to expect in boxing, the referee's going to come in and separate us. They're not going to come in and separate you if the guy's being busy. It's that area that people go, well, shit, this is dirty. No, this is legal. This is the sport. Mm-hmm. And he was not prepared for what the sport brings. And that's why it takes a guy that has technically better skills, puts them in a position where a guy who is just tough, mentally tough, has skills. I'm not taking anything away from Mike Perry, but his toughness and his attitude bring about his ability to be effective in this fighting range. And that's why, I said, hey, the guy's tailor-made for it. This is fantastic for him. I love it. He's got the personality for it. He's got the skill set for it. He's tough as hell. And you can take somebody like a Mike Perry, who was average in MMA, had some good wins, had some big losses, but he can be special in this. And look, if you put Mike Perry and Luke Rockhold, in the UFC together, it's a fucking mismatch. Luke Perry fucking eats him up. He submits him.
Luke Perry?
Luke Rockhold, yeah. Well, he was an actor.
Yeah.
Luke Rockhold submits him. I'm just going to be honest. It's just like what you saw with Cerrone when he fought Perry. That's what you're going to get. He's going to just be able to stick and move and then take him down, and he's going to submit him.
I think the kicks play a big factor in that fight.
Oh, huge factor in it.
So,
and so I just look and it's like certain sports are made for certain people. And I've said it. I think Mike Perry in this, as long as he stays with the mentality that he has, he's going to be a hard match for anybody.
Yeah, realizing that you can't use your kicks. Realizing, like I saw in the first couple clinches, he was trying to, Luke was trying to get double unders instead of just clinching the head and getting the plum tie, and dirty boxing, and make it a grimy fight. Mike Perry.
He didn't want to make it a grimy fight.
No, Mike Perry.
He wanted to make it a slick fight.
Yeah, but Mike Perry was going to the body. He was making it. He was trying to get in close, put his forehead in the chest, and trying to land some big shots. Luke was struggling a little bit with the circling, the rotation. He thought he was going to stick and move. This sport, it was pretty evident from the very beginning. When you saw Paulie Malignaggi fight Artem Lobov, I'm sorry, but sticking and moving ain't going to really work for you in this sport.
No.
And that's the thing. Like, yeah, you can land your shot, be slick about it, but there's times to do it. Eddie Alvarez is real. People underestimate how good Eddie's boxing is. Eddie can box, man. I mean, he tends to take some shots, but man, he made a career off of doing that little step, like little stutter step, and then stepping to the outside and throwing the straight right and getting offline. I mean, man, I've seen him drop so many people with that shot, whether it was Bodog, whether it was Bellator, whether in the UFC.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's his money shot, man. And he's, and he'll jab in, and then he'll throw the right hand, step offline, duck underneath your hook, and then come back out and hit you again. I mean, beautiful work. But Mike Perry's not that fighter. He's not like that. No. But Luke was trying to be slick like a boxer, and this sport is not. It's not for that way. This sport is all about, getting after it, getting in your face, getting on the tie, uppercuts to the body, turn you and hit you again. When you get to the ropes, kind of dig the body a little bit and then come off, make a little angle, and then let you go again. And it's a very grimy, dirty fight, almost like a stand head-to-head type fight, and just like, okay, let's just not move. Yeah, sling it. Let's just... Yeah, it's this fight one was trying to be a technical fighter, and the other one was legitimately just trying to be a street fighter. And it was working, and it was working for him. It was actually a really close fight up until the cut or the jaw or whatever it is. I know he chipped his tooth, 2 of them, and he got a nice little gash right on the underside on his bottom lip. I think he's got some stitches, and they were actually checking inside the back of his mouth, so which means he probably either broke his jaw or has a small little, because anytime you break your jaw, there's a little push up in the back. Like your jaw sometimes will feel like it's
that hinge.
It hinges like kind of flopping around. I've never broke my jaw, but I've talked to doctors about it several times because I'm like, man, I feel like I hurt like it's broken or something.
Because when you bite down, you get that zinging pain.
Yeah,
right
TMG or whatever it's called. Yeah, so
TMJ.
There you go. But I was asking, I was like, yeah,
you might spell jaw with a G, but everyone else spells it with a J.
Interesting. But man, Luke looking beautiful right now. Jeez,
that is a picture. We got a picture of Luke right there. That's a picture of a Ralph Lauren model. This is where you look and you go, broken tooth.
Oh yeah,
that's going to have to be fixed. You can see that his teeth actually got, and this is when I saw people going, oh, he quit. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to say he didn't. You're right. again, mentality. If Mike Perry had this injury, I don't think he would have stopped. He doesn't have that. You know, you've seen Mike Perry with his nose halfway across his face, and he's still fighting. And it's just Luke wasn't ready for this type of fight and what could happen. You know, and it's a different mentality. You know, I don't blame Luke. His teeth are, you know, he could feel them moving. It's an odd feeling if you've ever had it happen. You know, I've had my tooth knocked out of my face and stuff. It's odd. All of a sudden, there's holy shit, and you're moving your front tooth, and it's just, and it falls out in your mouth. It's like, okay, that's not normal. That's not normal, but you know, these are the things that, you know, play into it. You know, when Randy Couture got kicked against Lyoto Machida when it was retirement fight, you know, the first thing he said, he goes, man, I kind of felt my mouthpiece, and I felt my two teeth drop down into my mouthpiece. I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. Yeah. You know, and that was after he kind of woke up from being hit. But, you know, it's a mentality that you've got to, you know, to work through that. It's not easy because it's an odd situation, something you're not used to dealing with.
Luke says in this, there you can check bare knuckle off the list. Some crazy shit. Those little knuckles got me square on the front two teeth. It's a shame that it ended that way. Motherfucker, Mike, you're a tough bastard. Congrats. I'm not done. Some gloves would be nice though. I mean, I get it. I hear, like I said, sport is not for everyone. And it's not just talking about Luke. I'm talking about a lot of fighters. You know, the difference, you're going to see a huge difference. Like you did with Paulie. Paulie thought he could go out there and box against Artem Lobov.
Be a slick boxer.
It's not going to work. And then you're going to have guys that are going to come in thinking that they're going to be dirty and grimy like a Mike Perry or an Eddie Alvarez. And it's not going to work for them.
But you can see there have been fights when Austin Trout fought Diego Sanchez. He was able to be a slick boxer. He was able to use it. Now, they kind of cheated with the Vaseline stuff, but it's also the opponent and what the opponent's able to do and the speed of him and stuff. So we're going to see if Austin Trout can continue with that. But I looked at it. It was good competition. I thought Mike Perry looked fantastic. And I thought Luke, you know, he went out there and tried. He gave it his best and realized, okay, this is different than I thought it was going to be. It ain't meant for me. And now that I've been injured, I got to get out of here. It's okay.
Yeah, the mouthpieces will be different. The way you get, like you were talking about how, okay, his teeth got knocked back into his mouth a little bit. They started floating around. Yeah. I use the story with my thumb and the Benson thing. It's something you've never seen or experienced before. That's like right. My thumb moving around inside my skin and my skin looking all loose and weird. It's a mental fuck. Yeah, it really is. You've never seen your body. You know you're broken. Yeah, you've never seen your body disfigured like that, and with your mouth, you can't see it, so you're just kind of feeling it, and you're like, I've never felt this, and oh no, it's like, fuck, what's going on with my mouth? Like, am I ever going to be able to like talk again? Like, am I going to have teeth? Like, do I have to pay for veneers? Like, what the fuck? Like all
more than veneers, baby.
Like all these things,
veneers got to be attached to something.
And that's the thing. And I saw when he took his mouthpiece out, like right after the fight, you could tell that his teeth were kind of moved around. They weren't. They weren't straight. They weren't any of that stuff. Whoo! I mean, he's gonna have a nice little dental bill. That's for sure.
Yeah,
that is for sure. Oh, sorry guys. It's a 5 a.m. here, and we're getting this for you, and we're a day late, but we're gonna make up for it. But there was a lot. There was a lot of things that I think were positives out of this event. I think for Luke and for Mike Perry. Mike Perry letting the world know that he'll fight anybody. I'm actually really looking forward to the Darren Till fight because Darren Till signed with them, and they had announced that Darren Till would be the one probably fighting the winner of this. But knowing that Mike Perry has 3 fights now under his belt, and and he keeps winning. Yeah. And I look at Darren Till a little bit like a Luke Rockhold. Yeah.
What makes Darren Till effective?
His movement, his yeah. And I don't know. Like, I don't know. We're going to find out. I just think that he's going to try to be slick on the feet, and Mike's going to be like, No, son. This ain't how this sport works.
You saw when Mike Perry fought MVP.
Very true.
That's the one that told me, all right, Mike Perry's that guy that, you know what, I'm going to, and he goes, you're going to break your hands on my forehead because I'm going to come and you're going to hit me and I'm going to just break your hands. Mm-hmm. And he did exactly what he said. I'm going to come forward and I'm going to put shots on you. Well, guess what? If you're Darren Till, be prepared to have a guy coming forward, putting shots on you. You better put that one on that hurts him. You know, and it's, I just look at it and go, some guys are meant for it. You know, it doesn't matter how good you were in another sport. And this is where people try to take all forms of fighting and say, okay, who's the best fighter? Depends on what form they're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you look at boxing. Boxing's kind of taken a turn. I think just it's become a gimmick now, and nothing against like the top level boxers, Canelo and and
Terrence Crawford, and these guys. I mean, Loma and those guys. They're all fantastic boxers. Yeah. But I think that the way of the sports right now are going more of the dog. Like I think Eddie Alvarez said it perfect. He's like, this is a dog sport. He's like, this is for the dogs, man. He's like, and there's something here. And that kind of got me thinking too, as I'm watching, as I was pretty hyped up for this whole event, pretty much the last 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm looking forward to these fights. Yeah.
And
so much, so I paid $50 for them.
So did I. Yeah, there's something there. And the way that they're doing this and the way that they're pulling in, former MMA guys, former boxers, with a little bit of name, and there's value there. There's something there. I can't tell you what it is. They've got like you said, the beginning UFC kind of hoops to jump through. But John, if I'm an investor, or if I'm a network, I'm thinking I need content. This might be something we can maybe invest in and pull it into some content. I'd be looking into that if I was an investor. But I'm not.
No, you're not. Eddie Alvarez versus Chad Mendes. What a fucking fight, dude. Mm-hmm. Those guys were slinging. Knocked down by, Mendes. Knocked down by Eddie Alvarez. Then Eddie Alvarez gets him, and then he comes back and puts Alvarez on his butt. What a fight. Both guys showed so much. They're so tough. And like you said, I was really concerned with Eddie coming in. I knew, how Eddie came up and everything, but again, it's a different way. I figured Chad would be faster than him. Mm-hmm. He was,
yeah.
But Eddie was able to put pressure on him. You could hear Eddie's wife the entire fight. So I was cracking up. That's the first thing I heard. I heard screaming. There's Eddie's wife.
Oh man!
If you've ever been at one of Eddie's fights, his wife is screaming the entire fight. She's fantastic with that. But I mean, what heart by both guys. I thought Mendes hurt. I think it was his left hand, probably in the fourth round.
No, I think it was at the end of the second.
It was the end of the second?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You could see it had an effect on him in the fight, but man, Chad throws with some heat. He definitely throws with some heat. So did Eddie at times. He was winging that uppercut inside over and over. But great. You want to see, what Artem Lobov versus Jason Knight was probably the best bare knuckle fight in bare knuckle history. Yeah. This one was right there with it. This was a great fight.
It's a different style of fight.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a fantastic fight. He hurt his hand a little bit, I think, in the second. But then you could tell, I think what you were talking about, because we were texting back and forth, is that it started really having an effect on him in the fourth. Because I saw him pawing at it.
Yeah.
Like he kept rubbing the back of it almost like he felt it was broken. And then he kept pushing, he kept putting pressure on it against his shorts when he was standing. And he was able to make some space. Yeah, I just saw it. And I was like, okay, well, what are you going to do with it? And then he threw it. I was like, well, he's a dog. That's what it is. Okay. So, with Chad, I really thought the speed was going to be a difference. I thought he was going to be able to get in, get out. I thought he was going to be able to grimy box. I thought he was going to be able to grimy box him, clinch the head a little bit and dirty box, then get out. But that wasn't the case. I mean, he had some moments. I mean, he dropped Eddie in the second. Eddie dropped him in the third. And then they had a good back and forth battle in the fourth. And then in the fifth, man, Chad got dropped. And I was like, holy shit, man, with only like a minute left. And then he got up and he dropped Eddie. I was like, oh shit. I mean, this fight had everything. If I'm a promoter, this fight had everything that I wished for in the fight. And it was a fantastic fight. The only problem is now that the two of them have fought, is where do you go with the two of them in another direction? Because
Chad retired.
Oh, did he? I didn't hear that. I wasn't
retired.
listening to the sound. Okay, so Chad retired. Oh, that's right. I did hear that. I did say, he checked it off the list. He lost, but it was a fantastic fight, and that's right. He did. Shit, I forgot about that. But good for him on the career, man. Good for him. Eddie, man. I know Eddie got a good contract.
Got a good payday.
Yeah.
Which Eddie always does.
Yeah.
Good for him.
That's Eddie, man. Eddie finds a way to always make a ton of money. This guy he wins. That's a big reason why he makes a ton of money.
Could you imagine if Eddie goes and becomes their champion, though? Kind of says a lot about the man. Does it not?
Yep. Well, it says exactly what his nickname is. The Underground
King, baby.
I mean, this is tailor made for him. I mean, I don't know how long I'd want to do it, but one or two. I think we talk about MMA, we talk about football and basketball and all this other stuff that has like short lifespans. I can't imagine this one has a very long lifespan, like career lifespan.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, but this was a fantastic fight. The Mike Perry and Luke Rockhold fight, good fight, a little anticlimactic the way it ended, but it was shaping up to be a good fight. This fight had everything. Knockdowns, 2 knockdowns in one round, right before the bell at the end. The drama was surrounding it, the speed versus the power, the size, and just all of the athleticism, all that stuff. It was, you look at it, man, you wouldn't be able to see this fight in MMA, because Chad could wrestle, but Eddie's got good takedown defense. I mean, the two of them together would have been a fantastic fight, but I think it would have given it to Eddie, in terms of the MMA, because there's so many other tools that you can utilize, sprawl and brawl, kicks, the way they mix up the knees and the elbows, all that stuff. Eddie was the guy that could really get in there and throw some knees up at the body, and he ripped the body too, and he created angles, but he kicked quite a bit, and he could stuff takedowns. He put some pressure. I mean, it would have been a great fight in MMA, but in this, I think this magnified how good this fight was. It was because there was no kicks, there was no elbows, there was no wrestling involved. They didn't have to worry about being taken down. They could just stand toe to toe and sling it. And we saw it. We saw 4 knockdowns in a 5 2-minute round fight. I mean, it was fantastic. What a fucking fight. So I'm interested to see who Eddie fights next. Are we going to see Eddie fight Mike Perry? I mean,
Mike might be a little big for him.
Yeah, but I mean, I get it. I get it, but this would be a fun fight. I mean, you don't have to worry about Mike Perry being faster than you.
Nope.
So good fight though, man. It was a fantastic fight. So congratulations, Chad Mendes, on a great career in combat sports. And looking forward to getting some hunting in with you, man, one of these days.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Feathers and fins, right?
Well, yeah, feathers and fins. It was him and Clay Guida.
Yeah.
So he's got the feathers and Clay's got the fins.
Yep. All right, so we had Beck Rawlings Rodriguez, because that's her last name now since she's married.
Congratulations.
Taking on the champion in Ferrer. Man, this started out to be a great fight. Beck Rawlings really showing she's slick with her bare knuckle boxing. She gets inside. She throws a lot of body shots. She really was doing well. She got a cut in the first round. Dr. Don Muzi let her go into the second. So obviously it didn't look like there was a big difference, but something happened with that cut. It sprouted what we call a leg going in a different direction, meaning you're going to have a flap of skin, and he wouldn't let it go on. But that was shaping up to be a great fight.
It was. And I was a little concerned like with Beck, because Beck hasn't fought in this sport in a while. She left this sport to come and fight in Bellator. She won one, I think won one, lost one, or won one and lost two or something like that.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. She had a rough go coming back into the MMA. But she was the champ in the Bkfc before she left.
Yep.
She was the champ. I think she was the very first champ, right, for them.
Yeah.
In this, So her coming back and then it being stopped by a cut, this sport is made for her. She's a Mike Perry. I mean, outside the tattoos, they're very similar in the way that they fight.
Why? They both have tattoos.
Yeah, I'm like saying like the style of tattoos.
She doesn't have any on the face.
Yeah, Beck is this is where she belongs. I think why deny it? Why try to stop? Like I feel like the fighters took a leave of absence. I'm gonna go do this, and they're gonna come back to bare knuckle fight. Don't do that. Just stay where you're at, man. Stay where you're at. This is good. This sport is good for some. This is good. I mean, this shit's hard, John. Like whether it's hard, whether it's MMA, whether it's boxing, whether it's football, basketball, it's like the training. If you want to be good at it, this shit's hard. Like everyone thinks like, and when they complain about Luke, oh, he retired or he quit. Dude, the movement of your teeth in your mouth and the feeling of the cut on the outside of your lip and feeling how big and deep it is, fucks with you mentally. I mean, look at Ryan Garcia last week. Did he quit? You could say he quit. He could have stood up, walked, took a shot, then went back down, took a knee, or as soon as they engaged, taken another knee. He could have, but he didn't. I mean, did he quit? I mean, that to me is more of a quit. And I like Ryan Garcia as a boxer. That to me was more of a quit than when someone's teeth are mangled up in your mouth and you're feeling like, man, I've never felt this before. How many teeth did I lose? I mean, that to me is not quitting. It's just understanding like there's something really wrong with my jaw, something really wrong with my mouth, something. And that unexpected.
I didn't expect this to happen.
Yeah. This, though, with Beck, she was like, oh, fuck off. After the doctor said he was going to stop, and she's like, oh, fuck off. And it was so great because they captured her accent, and it's so funny. Yeah. But she's a dog, and I mean that in a very good way, by the way. She is a dog. She can sling it. She was the faster fighter. She was landing the harder, cleaner shots. Ferreira had some good shots also. Obviously, that's how she got cut. How Beck Rawlings got cut.
Beck just needed to throw a little bit more.
Yep. But she was slinging in the second. They were slinging in she came out in the second. They both got after it. And I had Beck win in the second round.
Yeah. I think it was because she realized,
yeah,
they're looking at a cut. I need to do something. And she went for it.
Yep. Good fight.
Josh Copeland against Big Ben Rothwell. You talk about two heavyweights slinging and two guys taking big shots. There was moments in there though. You can see Ben Rothwell has got Copeland almost in a Muay Thai plum, and you can see he wants to throw knees. Yeah. He wants to, but he can't. And Josh Copeland put some big shots on Ben right away. Kind of closed up his right eye quickly, but Ben just came back. I thought Copeland won the first round, but Ben just kept coming back, won the second, won the third, and just, was putting big, heavy shots. Copeland just wore down. And fighting in, Colorado at altitude, I love when, Ben said, hey, you suck, man. His air is killing him and stuff, but it's part of the fight game and knowing where you can go. And if you're going to have to spend extra time there based upon getting acclimated to the altitude and things like that, but both guys fought their ass off. Great fight and big win by Ben. And I loved what he did. He's calling out, Alan Belcher, who's the heavyweight champion for Bkfc. Big size disparity though. See if the faster Belcher beats the bigger. We talked about Rothwell. He's a zombie and he keeps coming forward, and he did exactly that in this fight. It is that mental toughness that he has and that ability just to take shots and keep coming and throwing. That's what got him the win here.
But this fight was way closer than I thought it would have been. Like this was another one of this is the mistake for me. I thought, oh, Ben, and then I saw some of Copeland's past fights. I'm like, oh, he's tough, but wait till he's got to deal with Ben. Ben's big. Ben's, can take a shot. He's going to hang on him. He's going to really put some power on him. And Copeland was there, man. He was landing some huge shots in that first round. And I was surprised how well he was doing. And he's a gritty dog also.
He took some body shots in that thing. Some of the body shots he took, those are not, that is not a comfortable situation. He took a ton and kept coming. I was like, tough son of a bitch, Josh.
Yeah, he really shocked me. I mean, he's really tough. Really tough. And I was excited to see them getting after it back and forth. But Copeland was he just shocked me. I had that mindset, John. I just had the mindset of that Ben's got all these fights. Ben's fought top level guys. Ben was like 1 or 2 fights away from fighting for a title in the heavyweight division. Like, he was there. I mean, and then to see Copeland come out, he's got this fucking, he looks like the Geico commercial caveman, you know, and he's got the beard and I'm thinking to myself, man, he doesn't know what he's getting himself into. Fuck, he can fight.
Yeah, he did.
The guy can fight. And he knew exactly what he was getting himself into. Good fight, though. Great fight. Next.
Chris Camozzi versus Daniel Spawn. Oh, this is one of those ones, you know, it's funny because, you know, Daniel Spawn was in Hawaii with us. I kind of talked to him about bare knuckle and talked to him about, look, this is what you need to do, and talked about everything that I talked to him about, Chris Camozzi did to him. Great fight by Chris Camozzi. And Camozzi has shown, man, the guy is technically a very good fighter, be it in MMA, be it in glory kickboxing, and now bare knuckle. The dude can fight. Mm-hmm. He's tough. He is physically strong. He's capable. You know, he just systematically did all the right things to put good shots on Spawn and broke him down. And, you know, single collar tie, over tie, when we talk about, you know, pushing someone and putting your hand over the neck and bringing uppercuts to keep their head in place. Did everything that, you know, all legal, all good, all the things that separate bare knuckle boxing. Chris Camozzi was all over, and that's how he got the win.
Yeah, I was expecting a little bit more out of both of them, but I thought Camozzi fought a very good fight. I think Dan just the big shots, the big, you know, like the way it was done, like you said, the tie, the uppercuts, the griminess of it all, just not, you know, like getting your head pushed down and hitting, like, it's all legal. Yep. It's all legal. You can do it from anywhere. And if you're fighting, right, you're not thinking in MMA, you're not thinking like, I'll just grab the leg, or you push my head down, or whatever. I'll just grab the leg, or I'll grab a body lock, or you know, I'll sit to my butt if I need to. Can't do that in boxing or bare knuckle boxing. It's just different. And so bare knuckle, they've got something, you know, and this is in Dan Spawn found out the hard way. This is a different type of sport. Camozzi's on track, man. I mean, like, I'm sure he's gonna make some decent money here. And sorry guys. And it's good, man. I think I'm excited for these guys that are all getting an opportunity after MMA.
Hell yeah. To
make some good money, because the majority of them are making some pretty damn good money. Yep. So I'm excited for them. Next fight.
Brandon Gertz versus Torres. Let's just say it. Caveman Gertz just went out there and slung.
Yeah.
Put Torres down. Just, again, aggression, being willing to take a shot, all the things that make it different in bare knuckle boxing. Brandon Gertz just went out. He lost his first one based upon a cut, you know, and he's got a lot of scar tissue from MMA and stuff like that, but just a dog, and went out and showed what a dog can do.
Yeah, he's good. Like, he's one of those guys, like, he just waits and waits and waits for that first shot to land, and once that first shot lands, he just goes after you. He just comes and chases you down. He's a fun fighter. He's explosive. He's fast. He's short, compact. I know he's getting older in age, but man, he's still got some speed. He's still got some power. You know, he's southpaw, so he poses a bigger problem too because of that. And he kind of lures you in, and he real fast twitch and kind of moves his hands and his body a lot, but then doesn't ever really throw anything. And then as soon as you hit him, then he just gets mad, or he comes after you really aggressive. Or if he lands a hard shot on you, then he comes at you really aggressive. Yeah, he's going to be a fun fighter to watch in BKFC. I'm looking forward to seeing who they match him up against next. Yep. Like I said, if I'm Derek Campos, and that fight's
Gertz Campos 4.
Jeez, if that fight's on the table, I mean, like, you can expect to make some good money off that fight if you're a BKFC. I'll tune in, man. Definitely tune in. So that's a fight where the first 3 fights were just fantastic. Fantastic. All right.
Well, let's not say the first 3, because we did start it off with, what was it, Roman versus Cameron. And this is one of those ones, thank you. BKFC, you have someone like Gertz. Put him first. Get everyone, charged up. That first fight,
yeah.
But That's just the way it goes. You can't have them all being barn burners.
Yeah, Alvarado and Brown wasn't any better either. You've got to figure out. How do I say this? I wouldn't have started my pay-per-view with the two females.
No, you're looking for a barn burner.
Yeah,
Then again, get people engaged.
Yeah, but then again, if I just paid $50, I'm not turning off. You know what I mean? Like that. I think that might have been their mindset, but I wouldn't have started it with the two of them. So they've got some structural stuff they've got to figure out on the pay-per-view side, putting the fights together.
Yep.
But you see it sometimes. Still, look at Dana just the other day. Said we fuck up, we make mistakes because he had Royval in the prelims.
Yep.
And no matter how long you've been in the game, man, sometimes things just slip through the cracks. There's a lot going on.
A lot of MMA fighters in the stands watching, and the notorious one, Conor McGregor, made his appearance, and I thought it was funny that Mike Perry says, "I want to face off," and it's like, what are you doing? But okay. And he did. Conor comes in there, but Conor did a lot of good things about, again, how do you walk in with that belt? Josh, how do you walk in with that belt? What the hell is that?
I don't know. I don't know, John.
There has been an unwritten rule in fighting forever is, hey, if you're a fighter and you are actually in that ability to possibly win that, you don't pick up. It's kind of like the Stanley Cup thing. You don't put the belt on like you're the champ. You don't put it around your waist. You don't put it on your shoulder and take pictures. I mean, you could hold it for someone that you're in their corner and that's fine. But you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the World Cup when Salt Bae was kissing the trophy.
Oh, see,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
There's some things. Conor will take a belt from anyone and just walk around with it and stuff. But I thought it was good. I thought he said some good things about it. Yeah, he said good things that helped bare knuckle fighting. But you're not going to see him in bare knuckle fighting.
No, nope, not in the lifetime. I think he'll definitely won't be there. What did he say there, Dave? Call me slicey.
Jeez. Do you want the gist or do you want the whole thing?
The gist.
Okay. The gist is he says if God calls him to fight in BKFC, he will. He goes on to say that it's crazy how a guy
takes God to call him to get into bare knuckle fighting.
He means Dana White.
Okay.
He goes on to say that it's crazy how a guy that Cowboy submitted in one round went on to beat a former world champion in BKFC. He's like rule sets make fights, blah blah blah. And just that that if he's willing to fight in there, it takes a certain breed.
It does take a certain breed.
Well, I'm being honest when I say this. I think he'd be great at it. I think he does have the right mentality. The fact that he can't be taken down also, he's got great freaking range and distance control. He goes to the body. Yeah, his kicks, help him in MMA, but I think he'd actually be really good at it.
Yeah, what he has is that very wide stance to keep his range and his distance, like you were saying. But what he also has is he's got big power and he's very accurate.
Yep.
So he can normally, and his footwork would play a big factor, but he hasn't in his last 3 or 4 fights. He hasn't moved like that since the Eddie fight.
And you take a look, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. What has been the difference for Conor is now people are attacking his lead leg, and Dustin went after his lead leg and kept on taking it away. Can't happen here.
No, I get it. He's gonna. I think
he'd be really successful.
He's gonna have to use that movement, though. I mean, he's gonna have to have the wider stance, use the movement to bounce back in his step, and I just don't know if he has that anymore. That takes years and years to build it back up to judge that distance, to move that body like the way he used to against Eddie, and like he did against Eddie. Yeah. That's what that is. That's a buildup of staying consistent in MMA and constantly getting better every single fight. Staying focused and the activity of, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move here. I'm going to move there. he's gotten away from that. That's not who he is anymore. You're going to see more of a flat-footed fighter, and I don't know if that's going to benefit him in bare-knuckle boxing. You know, he'll have to be flat-footed. I get it. I understand. I think we're still living in the Eddie Alvarez, you know, Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor era, thinking like that'd be great. He'd be fantastic if that was him. That's not him anymore. So I would love to see it. It'll never happen, but I would love to see it. I mean, fuck it. Let's just, I say we send everyone there. We're going to see who's the dogs and who's not. So, I mean, I really believe, John, I believe this. And that's why when people were talking, we talked the other day about me doing the bare knuckle. It's like Luke said, check it off the list. That's one thing. Two is, I don't know, man. I grew up and I'm understanding that this is different. This is a street fight style. Like you grab, you hit as fast and as hard as you can. And I grew up doing this. You know, I'm not just a pretty face, man. Like,
you are such a pretty face there, baby.
I mean, I think stylistically, this is even more up my alley. If you take a look at my first fight in the UFC, remember when I fought, you were there, when I fought Gerald Strubet, it's reckless, it's careless, it's that aggressiveness. It's like, you know, you're young, you just throw as much. I was throwing myself in his guard, just throwing shots. Kid that was supposed to be this real good jiu-jitsu guy. Like, it's just, you don't think about the consequences. You just are out there because you love to fight. And that's kind of the generation. I think we were like me and Eddie and Trevor Prangley and these guys. We were like guys that we just love to fight. And that's it. It's not, now you're getting guys that they want to be, you know, I don't know, just they're fighters, but they didn't, not all of them grew up fighting, like fighting. So it's funny. It reminds me of the Rocky Balboa. I think it was number 5.
It all comes down to this, Josh.
Yeah.
There are people born to fight, and there's people that are fighters. There's a difference. People that are good fighters sometimes don't even like fighting, but they're good at it. You know?
It's true.
It's just, there's a different mentality.
Yeah, as I've gotten older, though, I don't know if I love fighting anymore.
Well, as you get older, you go, I'm too old for this.
Yeah. But it was fun. When I was a kid, man, I was an adrenaline junkie about it. I'd love to fight. Like if I'd ever ran into like someone like a podcast Dave on the street, I'd just slap him around just for fun. Make sure you guys go to onlyfans.com/weighing-in, hit that subscribe button. We got free content over there. It doesn't cost you guys anything, and we're not charging over there. Just come on over. We're taking fan questions from over there, delivering some new content on there. And we're trying to be as active on there as possible. We've got to do another live stream here soon coming up. So we got to hit that. We got to knock that one out here pretty soon. Onlyfans.com/weighing-in. All right, let's see what else we got.
Well, the UFC had a fight night, and it was Yadong Song versus Ricky Simon. That was really a good fight. We were kind of texting back and forth. It went exactly like I thought, though. Mm-hmm. I thought the speed of Yadong Song and the ability to keep Ricky from being able to wrestle was going to be a problem for him, and it ended up being a problem for him. Mm-hmm. And this is where you could just, again, styles make fights, and it's, you know, this is where I think we were talking about Umar fighting Ricky, and Ricky, you know, saying, I've got a fight coming up, and that I didn't blame him. That was his friends, you know, saying stuff, and they're backing their friend, and I totally understand it. But if you take away the wrestling of Ricky Simon, now he's limited to being a stand-up fighter. He's tough. He'll come after you, but you take a look at the stand-up ability of Yadong Song, the power that he has, the speed that he has, or if it was Umar, it's the same thing. It becomes a very difficult fight for him. And I thought, you know, Song, as soon as I saw Yadong Song being able to stuff the takedown right away with ease, that was the difference. And give it to Ricky. He was going after him. He kept reshooting on times, but he kept on basically getting stuffed. And when he did take Song down, Yadong Song was able to get back to his feet. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that makes it a difficult fight for someone like Ricky.
Yeah. It was evident right off the bat that Song was so much faster.
Yeah.
So he was the faster fighter. He also possessed more power. And those are things that make a fighter real hesitant to engage. And once that happened, Ricky was struggling to get in deep on the takedowns. Even when he did get in deep, there was no commitment because he didn't want to get hit with the power. There was a lot going on. So, Song fought a very good fight, very smart fight.
Yeah, very disciplined.
Yeah, and then he was in some big trouble, and it was pretty crazy because he had landed some clean, hard shots, and Ricky just ate him.
Oh, yeah.
But then it was just the accumulation throughout the 5 rounds that you
that
could
left
tell.
hook caught him multiple times before it put him down, and then when he got clipped with it, to put him down the first time, you went, he's hurt. That was near the end of the round.
Yeah,
and he never recovered from that.
No,
and it was like you said, it's an accumulation. You just can't. It's a breakdown.
Yeah. It's a good fight though. It was
really good fight.
It was one-sided, but it was a good fight. And I felt like Ricky could have, if he'd gotten 1 or 2 takedowns, been able to control the top position a little bit longer, it could have maybe started changing the direction of the fight. Because fucking fighting is a momentum-based sport. Like, you start getting 1 takedown, 2 takedowns, you start landing 1 hard shot, 2 hard shots, the momentum starts swinging your way, and then that fighter's mentality starts to shift. Like, shit, I can win this fight. And the other fighter's mentality goes, fuck, I'm losing now. Damn, I was winning that round. Now I'm not winning. Now it's 2-1, and fuck, I could have been up 3-0. There's a lot that starts going through a fighter's mind as he's getting hit or he's getting taken down or he's getting controlled. Just Ricky was never able to mount that offense in that for a long duration of time. I mean, you look at Yadong Song versus Umar. Tough fight. Speed, power.
But
I'm going to be honest, that's a scary fight for me. Not that I don't think Yadong Song, I think it's a scary fight because, like I just said, he's got the ability to stop a takedown or two, and he's got the speed and he's got power.
Yeah.
The power he
25.
possesses.
He's just like Umar.
Yeah.
Both of them super young.
To have that much power for being such a small package, that's a equalizer. Normally it's the heavier guys, or normally it's the guys that I don't know, just feel like they have all that power, but no. This kid's he's in a small box, and he can crack, and that's a little scary if you think about it. A little scary.
If you're in the bantamweight division and you got to face him, it's scary.
Yeah.
The guys that we're talking about, those are the guys I look at. Mm-hmm. Yes, Song has some losses. He lost to Corey Sandhagen, but again, he's young and he's learning still, and he's getting better. You look at him and, someone like Umar, that's your future. Mm. Those guys are going to be around for a while.
Yep.
And they're going to be, matching up, and there's going to be some great fights there and stuff. If you're Ricky Simone, this is really a tough fight to look at because you're not old. It's only your, 4th loss or something like that overall. Yeah. But it showed a disparity in that skill set of how do you overcome it. It's not an easy thing to overcome, especially with someone who's younger, is always going to have the speed advantage. You're not going to gain that. That's not going to happen. It's a tough go when you're looking. It's like, where do I go from here?
Yep. I don't know. Next fight.
Cal Borralho versus Mikhail Olajaychuk. I got that right this time. Olajaychuk coming in, a lot of power, but Borralho had talked about best training camp of his career. He really wanted to show something. He had decisions in the past. He wanted to get, a finish. And man, he did, and he did it against a tough dude, and he took some shots early on. You saw that, on the feet, probably was not the place that he was going to get the win. He ended up getting the fight to the ground, both in the first and then in the second. And, did his thing and got the rear naked choke. That was exactly the difference of MMA. Look, you can take the fight to multiple planes. And if, you're better in one area and you can put your opponent where he's better in another and take that away, this is how you get your win. And that's what Borralho did. And I thought he fought a beautiful fight.
Are we just going to comb over and act like he didn't say he had the best double leg in the MMA? This kid.
Well,
I was like, did you forget that Heather Cejudo's in UFC and Bo Nichols in the UFC?
Because someone says something does not mean it's a fact.
I was like, wait.
If there's one thing that we've learned in today's world, Josh, people say all kinds of crazy shit. Doesn't mean that it's real.
The UFC needs to come out with like these little things that below in a box that say misinformation and have context to it. Maybe the community notes like Elon does for Twitter. When he said that, I texted him like, wait.
You texted me, did he just say that?
Did he just
Yes,
say he
he
has
did.
the best double leg in the sport? I'm like,
Yes, he did.
get the fuck out of here.
It's not even close.
Does Brazil even have wrestling? I'm sorry, man. I had to go there. It was great. No, he's tough, man. He's got a good look to him. He's very marketable. I can see why the UFC kind of likes him a little bit, and the tattoos. He's got a good look to him. Good looking young man. Oh.
Yep.
Sorry, guys. Speaks English.
Boy!
I know, man. I know. My brain's not fully functioning this morning. I did jump on this call this morning though with you with no shirt on and was rubbing my nipples a little bit here. And
He was rubbing his nipples.
John,
It was disgusting.
John perked up real quick.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about his eyes. He was like, hey. All right. Next fight.
Rodolfo Vieira versus Cody Brundage. Man, when Cody Brundage dropped with the guillotine, it was like, what are you doing?
Stop it.
Oh my God. If you want to try for the guillotine and keep it on your feet, okay. You cannot take the fight to the ground with your back on the ground with someone that good in submission and think this is a good idea.
I mean, he's gotten a submission before with that arm and guillotine knife. We talked about it last week. I said he's got a really good arm and guillotine. He relies on it sometimes, and sure enough, he did that against somebody like Rodolfo Vieira. I mean,
smart.
You gotta wait until he's exhausted.
Yeah.
I know you rocked him. I know you had him in trouble. Early in the fight.
That was
No,
in the first round, though.
I know, but I'm saying early in the fight, like, no, I'm good. We're not taking that chance until like you can see that he's not functioning there anymore. But you know what? I didn't realize how big Cody Brundage was. Because Vieira's big, and you see the two of them face to face. He was the bigger guy. Cody Brundage was bigger than him.
Yeah, maybe not quite as muscular. But
Not
he's a
as quite
bigger
as
frame.
muscular. But
Bigger
man,
frame, yeah.
Brundage got some pop though in his hands, and he was slinging it. And Rodolfo's wrestling is not the greatest.
And you would have thought that Brundage would have been smart enough. If I end up in the top position, okay, I'll go to the ground in the top position. But once you're there, your wrestling is there to keep this fight where you want it to be, on your feet.
Yeah, we talk about fight IQ all the time, and this was definitely a lack thereof.
This is what lost it to him.
Next.
Fernando Padilla versus Julian Erosa. I know there's people complaining about the stoppage on this. No,
Not
sorry.
me. No.
Julian Erosa, tough as hell, and I've always enjoyed watching him fight because he comes to fight. He got starched
The way he
on that
dropped.
one shot and actually went
Yeah.
out. Then he came back, and when he got hit with another clean shot, Chris Taione stopped it. It was a good stoppage. What you didn't get to see was that final nail put in the coffin, and you didn't need to see it. It was Fernando Padilla came out, did his job, put big shots on him, and he ate him up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is exactly how the fight would go if I fucking fought Podcast Dave. Just drop him. I'd let him get up. I'd drop him again, let him get up.
Yeah.
And no,
Just torture.
Yeah,
Just torture.
it was good enough. The way he dropped in there and then was able to kind of wiggle back up.
Yep.
Then
took another shot.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah,
It was,
same here.
but great shots, very accurately placed. Nicely done, Padilla.
Padilla looked great.
Yeah. Next.
Marcos Rogerio de Lima against Waldo Cortez Acosta. The battle of the names. Guys have to have so many names. It's crazy. But really, heavyweight wise, Acosta came into this, I think, undefeated. Boy, he showed some toughness because, man, his leg got eaten up.
Yeah.
I thought it was crazy that De Lima just basically went away from the leg kick for a while. It's like, what are you doing, man? You're killing him with that thing. Go back to it. And it was the real decision. I mean, the difference maker in the fight. They both landed good shots, but those leg kicks changed the fight.
Yep. They changed the fight early. Those first couple calf kicks and the leg kicks on up started changing the way that that he fought, that Costas fought. So,
but he fought tough.
Yep.
Got to give him credit, man.
And John, you want to pick out?
Go.
You want to pick out something you want to talk about?
You know what? I thought I'm going to give it up for Cody Durden.
Thank you. I thought fantastic. Until he got
fought
tired.
his fight, fought a smart fight, fought the fight that he needed to fight to win the fight. He's not as athletic as Charles Johnson. He's not as fast as Charles Johnson. He doesn't have the power that Charles Johnson, but he can wrestle, and he's gritty and grimy, and he made that fight a win when everything you look at it goes against him in getting that win. So Cody Durden, I thought, really fought a good fight.
Durden's a fucking grinder, man. He was takedown on the head, on the back, dropped off the back, got back to the takedowns. You see, he gave me a little bit of, I'm not trying to compare him to Habib. I'm just simply saying, every time he got into the takedowns and then he started to lose position, he got off the back and then he kept his hands locked. Gray Maynard did that really well. Was if he locked his hands around your waist, he wasn't letting go of that. He just kept shuffling back in front, scooping the legs out. And then you turn your back, he'd go to the back. And then as you stood up, he would go back into the double leg and then scoop your legs out. He never unlocked his hands, and it made it such a fucking pain in the ass, man. Gray Maynard was one of those guys when I was in training, when camps. I hated going with him. He hit hard. Fuck, I couldn't take him down if he hit me hard. I had to just rely on hope. I would just hope that fucking he would trip and fall and I could get on top. That was the best I could do. Man, he was a tough son of a bitch.
Hey, Dave, do me a favor. Pull up Cody Durden's record. I did one of Cody's early fights.
Wrong Cody. Huh?
And it was in Georgia in a small little thing. Go down the list there.
Oh.
Keep going.
A lot of these don't have the ref names.
Yeah, they used to.
No, they do at the top, but usually when it's like a non-major fight, they don't usually list it.
Interesting. I'm trying to think of which one it was at. But he was all crazy, and I remember I had to fucking get on him a little bit. But he had that attitude. He had that wrestler attitude. It was fun to watch.
Good on him, though.
Yep, good for him.
He was tough.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk. And make sure you guys go to onlyfans.com/weighing in. Subscribe to us over there. It is free. Dave, you got any news for us?
Yeah. I'm just quickly noting something right now. 2 former UFC champions have booked fights. First is Rafael dos Anjos is fighting Vicente Luque on July 15th. And then Cody Garbrandt is fighting Mario Batista on August 19th.
Good
Both
fight.
good fights.
Yep. Luque is pretty big, man.
Boy, I'm just looking at him going,
Yeah.
that's a tough one. And he hits hard. You're going to see RDA really trying to
wrestle.
take that fight to the ground, wrestle, kind of Bilal Muhammad him. I don't know if he's got that same ability, though.
I think he does.
Do you? You think he's going to beat Luque?
I think so. Luke is on a 3-fight losing skid.
True,
2
but
or 3. Can you pull up Vicente Luque? I think he's on a 3-fight, right? Who did he lose to? He lost to
that's Cody Durden. Nice.
Vicente.
Oh, there it is. Go down to the bottom on that one.
He's on a 2-fight, Josh.
2-fight. Yeah, Bilal and Jeff Neal. Yeah, I mean, confidence key.
Yep.
And RDA doesn't lack that.
No,
He can fight. We'll see. I think but RDA can stand with him a little bit, and quite a bit actually.
No, he can stand with it, but
the safer
Luque is
fight
not.
is on the top.
But RDA's got to get the fight to the ground.
Yeah.
Because he can't stand with him forever. The power difference is going to be there.
Yeah. What about the Cody fight?
I think that's actually a good fight for Cody. The real question with Cody, look, Cody's fast.
Yeah.
And the real question with Cody is, does he fight smart? You know, you go back to when he was undefeated. And, you know, Mario Batista, he's a good fighter. And he's fast. But he has not fought the level that Cody has, not even close. And the big thing is, if Cody fights smart, you look at when he fought Dominic Cruz, when he won the title. Dominic had gotten, you know, all kinds of credit for getting in people's heads, and they thought that he got in Cody's head. And when they were fighting, you know, he was backing off at times and doing the little break dance and telling him get up and stuff. And you went, wow, you are fighting so smart for someone in this position at this time. I was so impressed. Then he went and he fought TJ Dillashaw, and he did everything wrong in that he did get sucked in by the talk, and he wanted to hurt someone so bad that it caused him problems and stuff. If Cody fights the right fight, Cody can beat anybody. He's that good, you know, because he needs to utilize his wrestling.
Yeah.
Many times he doesn't. You know, he just starts to sling. You take Mario Batista down, you put some ground and pound on him, you break him down a little bit, let him get back to his feet, put that speed on him, put the hands on him, take him back down. You do that fight, you're gonna win. Mm-hmm. If you go out there and you try to just knock him out, you're taking a big shot, you know, chance, and you could lose.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, man. I like Cody a lot. Good kid. Like, you know, he's still young, 31 years old. He's got some left in the tank. He's just got to fight smart. Like, you see some of these fighters, not just like myself, but then RDA, Arlovsky. They find ways to extend their career by changing the way they fight. He's going to have to make those changes.
Yes.
You know, speed kills. He's still probably one of the fastest, if not the fastest guy in the division. He's just gotta keep that chin protected, man.
Yep.
Can't afford to get clipped anymore. Yeah. All right. Next news.
Yep. One FC CEO was on a couple of shows last week and talking about in one place was talking about offering Francis Ngannou the biggest offer he can have for a fight right now. Saying that when he was on doing the interview last week, he said he was meeting with him on Saturday just past, and he would offer him the biggest deal. So we may potentially see that.
Well, every deal is the biggest deal because Francis hasn't got any offers, so not the offers that he wants. And so, what is the biggest deal? I think the money was on the table. Things have been offered to Francis. He hasn't accepted them. He wants more. He wants this. He wants that. I want to see him fight again. But if I'm one and you're out there offering the biggest offer on the table, what are you doing? There's no one in the game. Boy, are you betting against yourself? You're like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, I hope he gets paid. But if I'm a CEO of a company, I'm not offering you high money because I know that there's not a market for you. You know, like no one's willing to pay you what you want. Now we can get into realistic numbers, I think, which is, you know, $1 million, you know, between 800 to 1.1, I think is where companies are talking about for him. But he wants more. He wants 3, 4, 5. I think UFC offered him, they said like $8 million for the John Jones fight. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't take it, but he wanted some changes in the UFC. You're not going to make those. They're not going to make those changes, man. Not until you get some sort of political group in there to tell them to do it. But then that's not what people want either. So I don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you guys I do, John. I really can't. I want to see Francis fight. I want to see him go to a place that respects him and wants to take care of him.
Yeah.
I just don't know that he's going to get the money that he wants or thinks that he deserves. That market's not there for him. Unless he goes to boxing.
You know, at least with one, they do basically it all. So could they do a boxing match too?
Yeah.
Could.
They could.
You know, they do Muay Thai. They do Muay Thai with 4-ounce gloves. They do freaking submission grappling. They do, you know, MMA obviously and stuff. So could they throw a boxing match in there? Could.
Mm.
I don't know if it's going to be a boxing match that he's going to, agree to as far as the opponent that they could get. But, I look at it, it's like Chatri's in a position where he's got to do something. He's got this North American deal. He's coming to the Colorado, and he's got to do stuff based upon his TV deal with Amazon. But they're burning a lot of money. A lot of money.
I mean, I know what Eddie was getting paid. I know what some of these other guys are getting paid to go over there. And like I said, I used to work for them, so I knew the contracts. This was years ago, but I knew what the contracts were back then, and they were pretty damn good. For a while they had, Rich Franklin's, he's the CEO of Talent Relations or something like that. You got Matt Hume, vice president. You got Matt Hume over there. Misha Tate was working there for about 2.5 years. They're paying well, and they're a good company to work for. If you go over there and work for them, I always wonder, like, how long will they be in business? Because they're burning through money. I mean, they're burning through it. So we've talked about, people have had him on, had Chatri on, and talked about how they're $600 million in debt. That's a lot of fucking money. But if you're going to keep using it, I mean, this is one of those. Does Francis Ngannou have the it factor to bring in American eyes? And I just don't know. I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think so. No matter what I think of him as a fighter, it doesn't matter what I think of him. I think he's worth every penny that someone will pay him. But I think the American market won't support those pay-per-view buys to supplement his income. Like if I'm the CEO, or if I'm the president of a company, or if I'm an investor, I'm like, is he worth $2 million? Am I going to make $2-3 million every time he fights? It's going to be close. And then I got to pay all the other fighters. Like that pay-per-view or whatever it is you're going to sell, or Amazon. I mean, is that going to be enough to cover his fight? I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know. I don't know what their deal is with Amazon, but until you prove yourself, I can't imagine it's great.
Well, personally, I hope it happens. I hope he does sign with one, because I want him to find a home, and I want him to start fighting, because he's just sitting, doing nothing. Not good.
I know.
Next.
Oh.
Yep, we'll wrap up right there.
Well, that's it. We're going to wrap up right there. Well, hey, we want to thank you guys for joining us. I know I was yawning quite a bit, guys. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But Dave, went on vacation to Arizona and left us. So, we're filming really, really early again. Always working around Dave's schedule. So
going back to Scotland.
Scotland. Want to thank you guys for supporting us. Continue to watch us. Go to WayneInMerch.com. Pick up some of our new short sleeve shirts. And OnlyFans.com/WayneIn. Hit us up over there. Subscribe to us. We're going to do a fan Q&A hopefully here in the next week or so. But hit us up over there. Want to thank you guys for continuing to support us, and talk soon. John.
Absolutely. For everyone out there, thanks for tuning in. We're sorry we were late, but we will see you.